All righty, folks, welcome back. Another episode of a 7-on-7 series from the Gridiron Uncensored gang with the usual crew, Blake, Trevor, and myself, Brendan. This is a question from our good friends over at What's Up Dog Sports. It's Up Dog Sports, but What's Up Dog. So either way, great guys. Go follow them and shit too. So make sure you guys go and subscribe to our YouTube and all that stuff before we get into all the questions. This one, though, again, Big 12 oriented. We're talking about the Big 12 and the playoff with the 2024 season. It's expanded. We know it's not the 4-team anymore. So the question is from them, say 2 teams make it from the Big 12. What 2 teams would be in the playoff in 2024? So that's a great question. Obviously, Big 12 is going to be a lot different than what we're used to. So, boys, I'm leaning the newcomers. The newcomers have so much momentum. Even when I talk about Arizona, which is one of the teams that I think still has a great chance because they were able to save their players from going to the portal, most of them anyway. The only one they lost really that important, they lost a cornerback, but Coleman on the offense went to Washington. So I've got Washington going because they still have Fafita at quarterback. Oklahoma State's a dangerous team. They bring back a lot of players. They just need to work on that consistency, and you'll see that in our YouTube show. The last podcast that we talked about Oklahoma State. Work on that consistency, and then, man, that would be my 2. I've got a dark horse, but I might drop it here in a little bit. Boys, I want to hear your 2 first.
So I haven't. I've got 2, but this is how I'm going to set it up. I've got 5 teams that I think with the Big 12 next year. I've got Utah, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Arizona, and West Virginia. Colorado, could they? Maybe. I don't know. I just haven't seen enough out of them. But the schedule is favorable for every team because the 2 big dogs are out of the Big 12 now. But out of those 5 teams, my picks would be probably Utah for sure. And then I'm a toss-up between Kansas State and Arizona. I like Arizona defensively, and I like Fafita, obviously, big fan of him, what he brings to the offense, and that favorable schedule. I just don't know how he's going to mesh with having a new coach. We'll just have to see how that goes. And then with Kansas State, Avery Johnson is just unproven. Though he looked good against NC State, he's just still an unproven quarterback for a season. So if he's got it together, I do like Kansas State. But if I had to pick 2 today, I'd say Utah, probably Arizona.
I can see that. So with mine, I kind of went the Blake route. I have 4 on my list that I have, and I am having a hard time narrowing it down. So what I have on my list are 2 newcomers and two oldies but goodies, and that's Utah and Arizona, Okie State, and Kansas. And those are my 4 right now, and I'm leaning on Arizona, and I really think Kansas. Only because Kansas didn't lose a whole lot, guys. They did not lose a whole lot. They have both the quarterbacks back, Bean and Home Slicer. His name forgets me. They have Bean. That's all they need. Anyway, but
Arizona, all you need, baby.
The bean is all you need. That's right. Put a tag on it. But no, Arizona with Fafita and Kansas with that offense that they got going. Their defense is actually surprisingly a good defense. I really think those 2 teams are, I would say, probably not as talked about as they should be, but I think they are my 2. And obviously, Utah, I think, will be there. I mean, assuming everybody stays healthy with Utah, they should be there. Okie State's kind of a dark horse, really, at this point for me. I don't trust them to be consistent enough to go all the way through into the playoff, but I almost view it as there's a potential for for more than 2 teams from the Big 12 to squeak in. Only because that I feel like the Big 2 are gonna beat the living crap out of each other. And that's the way I look at this, is that I feel like that Big 12, more so than the other conferences, are really top heavy right now because they've got medium to low tier teams, and then they have probably about, I don't know, what would you guys say, 6 teams, maybe 6 teams that really could vie for those top spots.
In the
I
Big
feel
12?
like that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd say 4 to 5 teams that can fight right now. Maybe 6 at the max that can fight for that top position, those top 2 positions for the conference championship. I like how you guys laid that out. Because I mean, you look at it and it's a lot of the newcomers, but Kansas State are hanging around. I want to see Avery Johnson and how he does. But really, when I think about, like I said, Oklahoma State, Arizona, I think are the top 2 for me. Utah is right there at 3. And people might be surprised that they're not higher. I know they're pretty much everybody's early favorite, way too early favorite. With Cam Rising sitting out for so long and recovering, I just want to see how he does. I know he should be fully healed and everything, but I just want to see him get back into live action and play. I know it might be silly, but
yeah, and my thing with Utah is that I want to see how the team handles traveling a little bit more than what they're used to. I feel like traveling to all the Big 12 teams, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment, and maybe even the atmosphere, not like legit, like not the fan atmosphere, but I mean like the Texas heat and things like that. How do they adjust to that kind of atmosphere? I mean, and the weather that is in the Big 12, because it is suffocating in some cases, and
especially early season.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of, I don't want to put my eggs on Utah just yet until I see kind of how they perform once they get into conference and everything like that. So I'm kind of holding judgment on them, but I do definitely see them as a definite contender.
Oh yeah. It's one of those, and maybe, like I said, maybe it's silly because I'm still leaning on that Fafita train, but I don't know. I just like Arizona, man. I don't know what it is. And then Okie State, they bring back so much, but they just got to get that consistency.
It's hard not to like Arizona, though. They brought back probably one of the most exciting quarterbacks last season. He came on like a bat out of hell, and then his top wide receiving target, who also happened to be his high school teammate, stayed with him at Arizona, even though they both were courted by who knows how many different programs to leave Arizona. So just them staying says a lot about the culture and everything like that the Arizona's built.
Absolutely. Well, boys, anything else on Big 12 that you can think of? It's going to be a crazy season for this team, or for this conference, with all the newcomers. Colorado, the Arizona team, Arizona State, Utah, all these teams coming in. It's going to be wild.
It's going to be a wild season.
We look forward to it. And again, these are way too early projections. I think most people are leaning on it because you can kind of see, but who the hell knows if something happens to these teams in the spring portal. We'll let you know if our opinions change on the matter. So again, thank you for the question to our friends, and keep sending them. If you got questions, let us know. Big Ten is up next on the block, and then we're getting into the 2024 previews. So guys, please share, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and holler at us on Twitter. Really, that's where we get the most action. YouTube as well. We appreciate you, boys. Last call.
Like, comment, and subscribe, baby. Comment, and
boys.
subscribe.
Call it a night. We'll see you. Good night.
Peace.